Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, and we're still talking about the big MAGA racist rally on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. And, JD Vance is such a dork. He says he didn't see the joke, he hasn't heard the joke, he doesn't know if it's racist. Like, of course you know that if you don't know what the joke is, then you shouldn't be running for vice president. Like, you should be paying attention to what's happening in the campaign. And if you're not able to do that, you're probably not up to the job of vice president, even though the job of vice president isn't a lot. Anyway, uh, and Trump, of course, is saying he didn't hear the joke and doesn't know the guy because doesn't I mean every time it's always, oh, I don't even know that person. Oh, they brought me coffee once. Um, so that's all stupid. But then the ladies of the View discussed the fact that over 200,000 subscriptions to the Washington Post have been canceled in the last few days after Jeff Bezos killed the endorsement of Harris from the editorial board. And ha ha, New York Post, fuck you. Um, and then he writes this stupid op-ed about how that's not how things are supposed to run. We're going back to our roots. What are you going back to your roots when slavery was legal? What roots are you talking about? And then poor little like Pollyanna Sarah Haynes goes on this thing. It's like, well, newspapers shouldn't endorse. They should be impartial. Blah 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 blah. I was like, well, okay. And at least Sonny corrected her, and then Bob Woodward corrected her again. It's like there's an editorial division of a paper, and then there's the journalist division of the paper. They are separate. Yes, they are run under the same entity, but they they serve different functions. And an editorial board of a newspaper often has differing opinions depending on which one of the writers you're going to get, and then collectively they will decide on things so that the board itself um, comes out with a conclusion or an opinion. But then the individual writers have sort of their own takes on things. That's what the editorial section of the paper does and always has done. And so she's so dumb. She says, "Oh, well, they can still write their opinions, just don't endorse." What the fuck? If you want it to be independent, and you're saying no opinion pieces. It should just be, journalistic factual news. Like, that's, you can't have it both ways. And then if there is going to be an opinion section, of course they should be able to have their opinion collectively about political events. Like that's that whole I'm an independent. It's like, because I can't pick a side because I can't think enough for myself um, to figure out where I believe. I don't get any of it. And she got all upset about how they just shouldn't be doing this. Well, yes, they should. Um, and one of them, somebody, I think Amy Lissa Farrah Griffin said, it's fine if it's local newspapers. These papers all started out local. It's the New York Times for a reason because it was a New York paper for New Yorkers. Washington Post. They're not USA Today, which was created as a national newspaper, but even it has regional sections. And USA Today came out and said they're not going to endorse anybody. It's just spineless, totally spineless. And I don't give a flying fuck, Jeff Bezos, that you know you somehow think that this is journalistic integrity. No, you're just afraid of upsetting Trump. And how spineless! You're a goddamn billionaire. Maybe you don't want to pay the taxes that Kamala Harris is going to import on you, but uh, you're still going to have plenty of money. Like, we just don't need billionaires. We don't. There should be no reason for them. But this would be a great time for a billionaire like Mark Cuban to be like, hey, I could start up some sort of journalistic endeavor. scoop up all the people that have been that have left the L.A. Times, um, the Washington Post, um, anybody who's left with a conscience at the New York Times, um, and create some sort of uh, journalistic uh, platform that isn't entirely uh, beholden to this sycophantic piece of shit notion that we can't ever criticize the Republicans the way that they should be criticized. Um, Actually have, you know, some fair and balanced reporting. And fair and balanced doesn't necessarily mean that um, both sides are praised or criticized in equal measure. Fair and balanced means this side has a huge problem with authoritarianism and wanting to take away your freedom. It's just pointing things out. It's the truth. Um, so I don't know. It was very frustrating to see her get all. It's like you don't understand. Then you don't understand how a paper runs, and then you say, oh, they can still opine but not endorse. She's annoying me. But then again, lots of things are annoying me because we're almost done with this election, and it's every I just want to scream. Remember the funeral scene in Steel Magnolias? I'm not to that level of Sally Field aggravation, where she just wants to hit something. She wants to hit it hard until it feels as bad as she does. I'm not there because I don't feel that bad. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the whole thing. But um, the hitting stuff, until some sense is knocked into it, that's resonating.